Welcome back. For those of you that are new, welcome. This is Dan. Welcome to Angle Guys. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. And for those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. If you're interested in supporting me over on Patreon, you can check out my daily forecast on the YouTube channel. In there is all of my social media contact information, how to book a private reading, things you might want to take into account when watching any of my videos. This is the monthly forecast for the month of May for the last sign of the zodiac in the rotation that I use them. This is not the last sign of the zodiac, it's actually the first, but last month was Aries season, so this month Aries goes last. And so this is for the sign of Aries. If you have a sun, moon, or rising in the sign of Aries, this reading may indicate what type of a May you may have. If you have heavily placed planets in the sign of Aries, like 3 or more, then I would consider watching this just to get an indication as to what kind of a May you may have. If this does not resonate with you as an Aries, that's completely fine. It doesn't mean anything's wrong or broken. This may just be a reading for for other Aries, and this may not be your reading for this month. It will be broad spectrum, so I'll speak in broad terms so that it can reach as many people as possible. You have to figure out where this best fits in your life, if at all, and then utilize it as how you best see fit. Keeping that in mind, if things don't fit, that's okay. Don't worry about it. So this first card is coming from the Queen of the Moon Oracle. I used this deck for all of the signs this month. I felt inspired to do so. So we're going to see what this card is. This is like the signifier card for the month. It tells me sort of, who the tour guide is, what we need to focus on, what we need to look at this month, possibly something we need to reflect upon during the month. Let me see what this card is for Aries. Okay, so you all got the Queen of the Moon, Sovereignty. I live, right? Card number 41. She's actually on the cover of the box. So y'all get the last reading out and you get the winner card of this deck. I believe she's probably the last card of the deck. Sovereignty, to me, if I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. To me, this is about ruling over one's space, Aries. This is about gaining control. I love this. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's this like sort of triad pyramid behind her. And then she has this crescent moon on her third eye. And to me, this makes me think of the mind, body, spirit connection and really kind of feeling centered in that and like ownership of that, right? When I think about being sovereign in one's space, in one's energy, in one's mind, in one's spirit, this would be about feeling and knowing exactly who you are, where you need to be, owning that. I love the fiery red color of her hair. That also ties in, it makes me feel like very at home for Aries. She feels like she is aware. She doesn't necessarily have need for anything or anyone else. She's clear on who she is, what she wants, what she needs. She's also able to get that for herself. She doesn't need anybody else. She's like, how do I want to say this? I kind of feel like she is like she's in charge of her space. And what I mean by space is it's not only just mental, but also physical, emotional, and spiritual, right? She knows who she is. We become aware of who we are. There could be adulting for some of my Aries in this space. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a good way, like feeling complete and in charge, feeling whole and maybe understood. And it's not about being understood by anybody else. It's just about being understood by ourselves. And so I like that for the Aries, right? It's because it feels empowered, but not in a way that's like necessarily forceful or like we don't need to prove it to anyone this month. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. All right, so this first card is the center card for you guys for the month. It tells me a bit about where you're centered at throughout the month of May. You'll go in and out of this card, but the reason why I look at it is it gives me indication as to where you're centered at and also what you could potentially be creating for the future. So this is the Four of Swords. I've seen this card like in 3 of the signs this month. So total incubation period. Swords is about the mind and the air element, so I'm not mad at that because air feeds fire. So I think that this is a good card for my Aries. I also like it with this sovereignty card in the sense because she's very clear on who she is and what she needs and what she wants. And the Four of Swords would be about taking that time to get that clarity, that mental clarity, that stability, right? Of not like necessarily needing anybody else's outside opinions, not necessarily and it's not about being rude or not taking in other people's thoughts, but it's like, I don't need that. I know who I am kind of thing. And we know who that is through going into this Four of Swords state, which is this idea of meditation, contemplation, one's own personal time and space, self-care, putting the focus on us, clearing out our mind and understanding what's going on in there. That's also sovereignty, and that's the Four of Swords. So I like that these two are very much paired together and they feel very similar to me. If you find yourself being less sociable this month, that's fine. Go ahead, trust what you need and give yourself it. That's sort of the feeling that I get. Is certainly with this Queen of the Moon. She's here today. So you guys are sending us off for May in a very big way, Aries. So this next card is the foundation. This is what everything's built upon. It's a card from the past that tells me a bit about sort of why things are the way that they are in the cards today for you guys. It also can potentially be the memory of this card that can be driving everything into the future, right? So we want to be aware of this because this card kind of has the potential to be holding everything in place. So let's see what this is. So this is the Two of Wands. This is fire energy, right? And the Two of Wands is about figuring out where we belong in the world. It's kind of like he's sort of looking out over the ocean, expectant, sort of trying to decide where we desire to be, what we want to be, how do we want to be connected, and to whom we want to be connected, right? Or in what ways we want to be connected. Normally, this is traditionally pictured with a guy holding a globe in his hand as he's looking out. And I always think of him as, making plans, trying to figure out where he wants to be in the world. And so when I see this to me indicates that this might have been up for my Aries in the, in the recent past, or say in the last few years, where you guys are trying to decide who and where you want to be, how and which way do you want to be talked to, treated, accepted, validated, all of that. Is it important? Is it not? And I think at some place or at some point in May, you're starting to figure those answers out for yourself through that Four of Swords and through this sovereignty card, right? Somewhere in the past, you opened the doors for the opportunity to contemplate, what is it that I desire? What is it that I want my life to look at like? Where is it that I want to be? And you've opened that door, and now this Two of Wands, or the memory of that, is still propelling you forward, although it might be more of a solo journey right now, but that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that because you're taking sort of ownership in a way for who you are, what you have, and how it's going to all roll out. And I like that. That's definitely like empowered to me. So the next card is the Spirit or Higher Self card. It tells me a bit about sort of what your higher self wants you to focus on or look at during this month. So this is the Ace of Pentacles. I like this. It's earth energy, but it's about new opportunities in the material physical realm. And the reason why I say physical, because this is normally earth and material realm, but I say physical realm because this is showing up in your spirit card space, right? So spirit is asking you to kind of look at, hold on one second. Tallulah, wake up. I don't know who's snoring so loud. I think it's Tallulah. Your spirit is asking you to look at, and the reason why I'm saying this is also because that Two of Wands is down in the foundation. Your spirit is asking you to look at, where are you in the physical experience? I know that sounds weird, but The ace is the card number one. It's about the focus being on the self, and this being in your spirit or higher self space, and it being a pentacles card. To me, the message is that your spirit is saying, okay, Aries, where do you want to be? Which door do you want to open? Which path do you want to take? And you were contemplating a path, or you've been contemplating paths since the past with this Two of Wands. But to take the path, and Aries, you guys can be a little bit fiery and impulsive and jump to like, go this way, then go that way, or do whatever it is that you do. But the truth is that like the Ace of Pentacles, Pentacles requires a little bit of grounding. There's also required a little bit of attention and focus. And that's the focus that we're gaining in that Four of Swords, right? The focus that we need. And it's the focus that our spirit wants us to have so that these doors can open in the physical world. Tallulah, wake up, please. So I think that this is a really beneficial card for paying attention to where new avenues show up for you in the physical realm, because they could be opportunities being presented to you by your higher self or by your spirit guides. And I think that where you want to be, you need to sort of start to like almost map it out in a way, get clear, write out lists, write out, feelings of what would feel good, what looks right, all of that sort of stuff, because I feel like this and this are working together, and this here is getting that clarity of mind to sort of drive yourself forward. Does that make sense? And I feel like the Ace has such a sort of magical newness to it, and it's coming from your spirit. So like, pay attention, Aries, because there are opportunities for you, but you need to sort of be able to see them and then act on them, or take them in a way that is grounded, practical, and all of that sort of stuff, right? All right, so let's get into the outside influences. The outside influences are things that could be affecting you in the month of May, either positively or negatively. They can be people, events, sometimes things more vague like belief systems or energies that could be having an effect. So let's see what they are. So one is the Ace of Swords. Awesome. Opportunities for clear thought, new opportunities or new ways of seeing the world, new ways of perceiving things, new contracts, usually celebratory. Again, the focus will be on yourself too, or it will be coming directly to you. Be surprised. Don't be surprised if it comes out of nowhere. The Four of Swords to me speaks to this idea of keeping that Four of Swords in the center is about keeping that clear mind, or getting that stable sort of clear thought space so that you can see this Ace of Swords when it comes to you, this divine idea or thought that opens up a new door. So there could very well be some new things on the horizon, especially with that Ace of Pentacles in the spirit space, and then this Ace of Swords coming at you from the outside world. Pay close attention in the month of May. I also love that we have the Queen of the Moon here, right? She's wanting to give you or seat you at the throne, right? So you get to make the decision here, Aries. You get to make the call and step forward. So I say go for it, right? Also with that Two of Wands in the foundation, it's like you get to define how you've been defining it all the way along. You just don't realize it or haven't realized it yet. That might be the clarity of the Ace of Swords that comes to you, is that you get to pick and choose. You get to be the master of your own destiny, so to speak. You always have been, but have you realized that? Maybe this is the month where you get to realize that. So this next card is the other outside influence. So this is the Two of Swords. So in the positive and optimism that we see in the Ace of Swords, the Two of Swords can indicate constriction, fear, feeling stuck, feeling unsure, feeling unable to pick a route or make a choice. It's interesting that you have two twos there, and you have two aces. We have an ace and a two and a two. I really feel like Aries is here at a place, especially with that Four of Swords in the center, where if you clear out your mind and your thoughts, there's an opportunity here to see the things that are going on around you either as expansive and optimistic, that would be the Ace of Swords, and new opportunities coming to you. Or you could look at it through the eyes of the Two of Swords, which would be about fear, indecision, not trusting oneself, not trusting those around you, not allowing yourself to feel as though you can move freely, right? If there's something that's going on like that around you, I think that you can open that up and change that. But you've got to trust not only yourself, but you're also this sovereignty, right? This sort of like ability to be in charge, to make decisions, to be responsible for your decisions, right? There's a freedom in that. And so I feel like the Two of Swords is kind of like us taking a really small viewpoint approach to what's going on around us, versus the Ace of Swords would be about taking a very much more expansive, in charge, kind of celebratory, responsible viewpoint. Does that make sense? And so you get to choose how you perceive what's coming at you this month. And there is opportunities for a lot to happen in this month if you allow for it, and if you don't limit yourself, and if you don't look at the negativity, you don't look at the constrictions, you look at the expansions. You don't look at the old ways and how things have been. It's like, to me, that Two of Swords indicates like sort of, I don't know, resentments or limitations that you've maybe lived in or had in the going on around you. And it's like, do we feed those, or do we feed the newness and the optimism and the opportunity of the Ace of Swords? You get to make that choice. But in the Four of Swords, you'll only be able to make that like a correct choice if you're clear and quiet and in charge. But whatever choice you make, you are and have always been sort of the ruler of your own world and your own choices. So the next card is the potential outcomes for the month. This card is not set in stone, but it does tell me how the majority of the Aries may end up this May, barring that nothing major changes. So if this card is negative, we can take heart in the fact that we don't necessarily have to experience it. We can use it as a warning and make choices and changes in our life now to affect the outcome. But if this card is positive, we can look forward to the fact that we're naturally heading towards it. We don't have to do much to change it. So this card is, boom, the Judgment. So to me, the Judgment is about answering the call. To me, the Judgment is about being called by Spirit to do something bigger or better, right? The Judgment to me is these ace energies. It's about the focus being on the self, taking responsibility for the self, doing and thinking in different ways that are more freeing than limiting in the past. This is about, the Judgment card to me would be about stepping up into this sovereignty, bringing yourself into this state of, you know, not only awareness, but like also authority in your own life, where you're able to make the decisions and live by those decisions. And if you have to, even die by those decisions. But to be honest, you're not going to have to die by the decisions. You can trust the things that are going on around you. That Two of Swords to me feels like, yeah, there might be stuff that doesn't feel great or isn't the best option for you, then steer away from it. Go a different direction or separate and pick something else, Aries, because you get to choose. You get that. You're the queen of your own moon or your own destiny, right? So the Judgment card to me is major arcana, so it is a significant ending to the month. It does feel, it is Scorpio energy. So we just had the Scorpio moon. So whatever it is you might want to let go of or release with that full moon, that energy may still be affecting you by the end of May. The Judgment card, with this card, it doesn't, I don't feel like it really dictates well with the Judgment card. The Judgment card always has the Archangel Gabriel blowing his horn and everybody rising up. And to me, that's sort of the opportunity here. Will my Aries rise to the occasion? The majority of you will. Will it be impactful and powerful for you? Yes. Will these things happen in a positive way for you? Probably. Like looking at these cards, I don't see any negative cards other than the limitations of that Two of Swords. And that to me says that like life may want to tell you, no, Aries, you can't dream that big. You can't be in charge. You can't. And those are all not true. You can. So that's the feeling that I'm getting. Step into this and trust it. Each one of you, you're gonna like have new opportunities coming to you in many different ways, but you have to also like, you know, have an open mind and believe that you deserve it, that you're due it, that you can make it happen. All of that sort of stuff has to come through in not only the hope in the Two of Wands, but also in the clarity of the Ace of Swords and in the spiritual excitement of the Ace of Pentacles. And then we have to rise to that occasion by month's end into the, you know, the card of Judgment. We have to be seen, you know, we have to be not necessarily, judgment isn't about being judged. It's about, you know, do we have what it takes? Are we really being sovereign over our space, our life, our decisions, or are we blaming, you know, everything else for our problems? Judgment makes us see that, right? It makes us own that. So yeah, it could feel like we're being a little bit judged, but once we're free of that, we're able to be like sort of the controllers of our own destiny or where we go and how we go and when we go. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, Aries. It should be an impactful month full of opportunity. Take it, run with it, rule for it, you know? That is your forecast for the month of May, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you guys next month. If you're enjoying this, please give it a thumbs up. Please follow me, subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so you get notified when I go live. Share this video with any other Aries that may need to see it. Share it in any groups that you go to or on any of your socials. Again, in all of my daily forecasts on the YouTube channel is all my information on how to contact me if you're interested in a private reading. I can certainly do like monthly privates for you as far as what is your May gonna look like, or you know, just readings on specific subjects, but that's always available to you too, Aries. And thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. Have a great May. It should be a really wonderful May, and there should be an opportunity for major growth and shifting. So if you've been sort of stuck, let yourself get unstuck. All right, I'll talk to you guys next month. Take care and have a wonderful May. Bye-bye.